Hugh, so here we are with a film version of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's kind of an origin story, really, isn't it? You play Mr. Waverley, quite an enigmatic character. I was wondering if you could start by telling us what his connection to Napoleon and Ilra Kurylenko are in this film.
Well, yeah, you wonder who he is. He keeps cropping up, and it turns out that he's the top guy in the London British Secret Service, and he's actually on the same mission as they're on, and trying to beat them, in fact, to the same target. Because in those days, of course, it was every man for himself. And but we end up kind of teamed up, and that is, as you say, the origins of the U.N.C.L.E. team.
Now, of course, the TV show was around in the 60s, and when you were quite a small boy, I think, but I wonder whether you had any memories of watching it. I heard you had a toy when you were younger.
I did watch it, and I still have that toy. I found it again the other day in my dad's house, and my children now play with it. It's rather touching.
Now, I imagine one of the big draws for you of working on this film was to work with Guy Ritchie. Tell us about working with Guy and your relationship on the movie.
Well, yeah, I've always thought his films were very cool and stylish, snazzy, quite different from anything I've ever been involved in. So when this came up, I thought, yeah, it would be fun. It would be an interesting excursion. And oddly enough, there's a slight family connection because his dad was my dad's best friend in the army back in the 50s. My dad once had to get his dad out of a porthole that he'd got stuck in, naked.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
I think that the humour in Guy Ritchie's films is one of the sort of main things, isn't it? All the way from Lock, Stock through to now. There's a wonderful scene in this film involving Solo in a van eating cheese and drinking wine, watching his comrade fighting the other Nazis. I wondered what the humour meant for you in this film.
Well, yeah, I was always trying to work out the tone, but I think you're right. It's always got a slightly... there's always a twinkle in the eye.
Absolutely. Talking of Henry Cavill, of course, he plays Napoleon Solo, following in the footsteps of Robert Vaughn from the TV show. What was it like working with Henry, of course, as Superman?
Yes. Well, he seemed brilliant and very cool and calm, and well, yeah, I was very impressed. And then he's having to do an American accent all the way through. Brilliant job.
And meanwhile, Armie Hammer, of course, plays Kuryakin, following the footsteps of...
Kuryakin,
apologies. Yeah. Following in the footsteps of David McCallum. He's a monster, isn't he? Sort of 6'5". I think he's described as a monster in the film. What was it like to work with him?
Yeah, he's a lovely man. And the only thing I hate about him is he makes me feel like Bernie Ecclestone.
Of course, the film keeps a 60s setting whilst still having a kind of modern feel. So that sort of keeps the TV show going. I wondered, what does that add to the film? What does that mean for the film rather than it being brought forward to the modern day, which of course it could have been?
Oh, absolutely essential. In a way, the film is as much a celebration of 60s cool as it is anything else, I think.
And you get to wear some pretty sharp suits in there.
I wear some very sharp suits, and the girls look fantastic. The locations are amazing. And yeah, it's almost a piece of visual art, this film, I think.
Now, going back to the TV series, I was interested to see that Mr. Waverley was played by Leo G. Carroll in the original series, who I'm a big fan of because I'm a huge Hitchcock fan. He plays the Professor in North by Northwest, which is one of my favourite films. What was it like sort of stepping into his shoes, as it were?
Well, I suppose you're always a bit worried that people are going to say, we loved the original. But I mean, the whole script seemed so entirely different from the TV series, apart from the central premise, and that included the Waverley character. I thought we'd just reinvent it from scratch.
Now we should talk briefly about Alicia Vikander. I've been following her career closely recently. She's great. I don't know if you saw Ex Machina this year, but wonderful film. She's in that.
No.
What do you think that she brings to this film as a performer?
Yeah, she's got an amazing presence and extraordinary beauty. I mean, you don't see film star beauty like that very often these days.
And finally, Hugh, I was wondering if you had to encourage some people along who perhaps were fans of the original TV show who wanted to come and see the film, what would you say to them? And equally, what would you say to people who had never heard of the original and were thinking about coming to see The Man from U.N.C.L.E?
Well, I think if they're fans of the original TV series, they're quite old, so I'd say come to an early screening and you can go to bed early. Yeah, it's just really cool. And as I keep saying, apart from being full of action and jokes and things like that. It's just visually stunning. If the set designer and costume designer of this don't win prizes, it would be a disgrace. It's astonishing.
Hugh Grant, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.